It's one small step for man.
It's just another Bronx Tale.
What's up, everybody? We are back for a Slice of Doom, episode number 4. I am here with 1/3 of the Doughboys, Jimbo the Kid. How you doing, brother?
What's going on, bro?
I am chilling, and we are about to go on another adventure. We are going to talk tonight about The Rings of Power. It is a new Lord of the Rings TV show that Amazon Prime Video is putting together, and I'm a huge Lord of the Rings nerd. I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan, so there's a lot riding on this for all Lord of the Rings fans everywhere. Jimbo, I know you're a gigantic Lord of the Rings fan as well.
Yes.
So I figured let's start here, and we'll just straight up play the trailer for everybody via the screen share here. So if you're listening on audio, you're kind of shit out of luck. You can hear the you'll be able to hear the trailer, but you ain't gonna be able to see it. So if you're listening on audio, either check out the trailer and then listen to the second part, or you could just watch this on YouTube or wherever we put it, and it will be there.
Haven't you ever wondered what else is out there? There's wonders in this world beyond our wandering. I can feel it.
All right, so you've seen this trailer before, right?
Yes.
So what do you think?
I have. It's very vague, but it's exciting because we get to look forward to a Lord of the Rings prequel, if you will. And that's what I'm excited for.
To set the stage for everybody, right? This show is happening in the second age of Middle Earth, I believe it is, right? So this is way before the events of both movies, the Hobbit trilogy and the Lord of the Rings trilogy. This is like thousands of years, I guess.
Thousands of years before. Yeah.
But some of the characters are returning. But go ahead.
Yeah, especially the elves, because they live such a longer life, and I think hobbits as well. Some hobbits. Yeah, it's vague, but it's exciting because you want to see what they're trying to do. What did you think about it?
So, I mean, there was a lot riding on this trailer, right? There was a lot of reaction to some of the images and whatnot, and a big problem that I guess you could say Hollywood or whoever have nowadays is just like wokeifying everything, right? I'm skeptical of the show because of that, but just from the photos, which I'll show you guys some of the photos as well, I didn't necessarily think it was overly woke. You can see that, right, Jimbo?
Yeah, I can see it.
So this is again. Sorry if you're listening, but this here is Galadriel, I believe, who you might remember from the original Lord of the Rings movie. She was like the high, mystical, powerful elf.
Yeah, she was played by Kate Blanchett.
Kate Blanchett, right? And there's some other. Here she is again. She's kind of like the warrior elf queen. I had no problem with this. I don't think this is woke. I think there's been other badass elven women in the Lord of the Rings before.
Mm-hmm.
This is where people seem to think it's woke for whatever reason. This is, I'm not sure what her name is, but she is a dwarf queen, and she is dark skinned as well as a dark skinned elf. So I mean, there has been such a like this is actually
firestorm.
This actually here is Durin as well. This looks badass as fuck. Durin is, I guess you could say, Thorin's great ancestor who founded Erebor. or
Mhm.
was like the the original
Yeah.
person in their line. But there's been a lot of backlash about there being like dark skinned characters in the Lord of the Rings, and I mean like I feel like people are like overly sensitive now to people being like shit being woke. Now I get what some people might think, but just because there's a dark skinned character in a fucking fantasy show doesn't mean the shit is woke. Like as long as the story makes sense, I have no problem with it whatsoever. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter to me.
Mhm.
I don't care. I just want you to make a good story for me. But so right off the bat, I was skeptical of people being skeptical of it, right?
Yeah.
Especially on Twitter and whatnot, because you got to give shit a chance before you just cancel it or whatnot. But man, I mean, I watched that trailer and I'm not impressed. It
Yeah.
seems like I don't know, downtown fucking Abbey or something like that. It I don't know. I just wasn't impressed by it. Like it's not showing you much, kind of like you said. It wasn't like the story, the trailer wasn't like teasing the story really at all. It's just like, hey, here's just characters that are in Middle Earth, and
Mhm.
we're walking
No.
around. I don't
Yeah.
know. The music it was kind of okay, but it didn't have that like Lord of the Rings music, bro. It has that like
Yeah.
deep dark
Yeah.
vibe that
Yeah.
just catches you into it.
Now, if they started that that trailer with the the hammer on the metal, that like
Yeah.
that, it's Lord of the Rings. You're already like, all right, let's do this. And what's crazy too is, isn't this the most expensive TV show ever made? Period. It's like
Yeah.
$1 billion
So I mean,
invested into it.
yeah, there's a lot on the line here, right? Not only is this the Lord of the Rings, this is J.R. Tolkien's, his classic story universe he created. But people love the movies, right? There's so much already writing on this. And then on top of that, right, Amazon is spending like the most money ever on this show that's ever been spent on a television show before. So that's even more added like weight to what's going on here. There's a lot of pressure to pull this shit off.
Yeah.
And with how so let's just say the bar is set very high, and that trailer just it didn't do it for me. I'm not writing off the show just yet. It just
Yeah.
didn't do it. I don't know.
So back to the woke thing. Maybe see, here's the thing. This is supposed to be a rendition of it was supposed to be influenced by the Silmarillion.
Yeah.
That was basically short stories before, like short tales. It's not an exact storyline. It's just a bunch of tales, a bunch of different stories, given the history of Middle Earth, or just given a background.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so maybe there's people who have like the Lord of the Ring fans, especially the people who have read the books, all of them. So some of them, like, the Elven language is a real thing. Like
It
there's
is, yeah.
people who can speak Elven. That J.R.R.
Yeah,
Tolkien has
it's
created himself. The man created his own language. That's crazy. So maybe they found something that is off. That maybe Amazon changed a character that was supposed to be one way. Because I haven't read the book, so I don't know. But maybe there's people out there that's like, wait, hold up. If you're gonna do something, you have to do it by the book. And a lot of people who read the Lord of the Rings trilogy, the books itself, say that it was the best adaptation to film. The best Peter Jackson did the best he could to try to put as much accuracy as possible. So who knows if someone was like, some these books are people's Bibles.
Yeah.
They probably read thousands of times, and they've probably caught something, and they just went on Twitter. I'm angry. This is fucked up. And
Yeah,
and
it's almost like a no-win situation, right? Because your super loyal diehard fans who maybe did read the Similarian or whatever are gonna have they're not gonna be like they're not going to be satisfied with anything, to be honest
Mhm.
with you, right? You see that with Star
They're
Wars
gonna
fans
nitpick
too,
everything.
right? They're going to
Yeah.
nitpick everything, but then you also have your people who just want to burn shit down because they think everything is just the most woke shit ever. Which I'm critical of that shit myself too. And then
Mhm.
there's your woke people who want to inject things into every storyline or thing we watch to the point where it becomes a distraction and doesn't make sense. And it's almost like a sad reflection on society right now. It's like you just can't enjoy anything because everybody's so angry or just so invested in whatever it is they're invested in now. Like the way I look at this is I just want to watch a good Lord of the Rings fucking show that's not going to remind me of real life and it's just going to be pulled off as accurately and have that vibe as much as it possibly can, that Lord of the Rings vibe. I'm just concerned now that it's not, because there's too many like exterior fucking things going on. that are
Outside
gonna-
noises.
Yeah, outside
It's
noises.
that
that are gonna,
outside
like,
noise that's coming in. You're just like, I want to disconnect from reality. I am, first of all, like you said before, any of this, it's a fake place.
Right.
Okay, this place it's not real.
Right, Middle Earth, those not real.
This is a made up
Newsflash.
place. We're talking about elves, dragons, things that are just mythical creatures that don't exist in this world. So you can't really get mad. You can't really get angry at this stuff. If they want to change a character to, a midget who is, darker, who cares? It's not a real place.
Right.
It's a made up character. So just let it happen. Why can't you just sit down and be like, this is cool. We get another Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, I agree.
Vibe.
That's where I'm at, bro. But then again, if
Yeah, you have people who just gotta go full on attack. You gotta get the, I'm outraged.
the hot
I
pockets
can't
guy,
believe that they
right?
would do this. Yeah,
He's got fucking
And,
hot pockets
it's-
cheese on his fingers as he's watching. He's watching
But
it
I
like
wanna
on his
try to-
computer instead of his TV.
you know. Well, let me ask you a question though. Since we're on this, this aired, on Super Bowl, right? And we didn't get into talk about this, but it's good that we're bringing it up in this context. And I don't want to like get too off topic with the Lord of the Rings. This is what happens when you get woke culture. The commercials were terrible, terrible. There was not one good commercial. The commercial summed up to crypto, electric cars. That's it.
Yeah,
That's
I,
it.
I wasn't surprised
And
either. I
in
thought
woke
it was-
culture, people are just like people walking on eggshells. They didn't know what they want to do. They're remaking stuff. Like they put the intro of Sopranos on an electric car. Tony Soprano would never drive that fucking car. You know what I mean? Give me a break. He'll never drive that car.
I kind of
it's
enjoyed
the
that
whole
commercial.
intro.
I'll be honest with you. It was kind of a cool recreation of it. But yeah, I see what you mean. Definitely. It's just like the fucking degeneration of culture in general.
Yeah,
and that's my ultimate. That is my ultimate concern here with the Lord of the Rings, is that everything going on is going to infect even the Lord of the Rings. And
Yeah.
before the episode 1 even comes out, it's already been ruined and whatnot. But let's go back to just the trailer in general too. Where is like the Dark Lord or whatever? Like, where is like the story plot teaser to any of this? There was a cool little scene in the trailer, I will say, that looked like a huge battle. It could have been, I don't know if you remember. You remember the beginning of the
Fellowship?
the Fellowship. They show like
Yep.
the battle. I think it was at the end of the Second Age, the battle there.
Yeah.
So that could be, we could see like all out maybe towards the end or something, that battle, being played out with all the characters that we're kind of familiar with. I know Elrond is going to be in the show. And I didn't show it before, but if you see a picture of Elrond, man, I mean, he's like a skinny, dorky looking kid now. That's not necessarily a warrior, according to what I've read. He's more of like a politician or like a scholar. And it's like, bro, Elrond's everything. He's a fucking scholar. He's a warrior. He's a king. He's the most badass motherfucker that exists.
Yeah.
along with Galadriel. So I'm concerned, but I'm still gonna watch the show and enjoy it. Hopefully, I'm gonna give at least episode 1 a chance.
You know what would have been cool if they would have recreated the forging of the rings in their spin. Like keeping it
might.
like because that's the whole point. It's showing all the
The sh-
rings existing and being made. So why not have something like that involved? And you see the characters, you see the
like in the
people who are
trailer?
going to get those rings,
Like in the trailer.
know?
Yeah. I
and then
mean,
you
yeah, not for
leave
nothing,
leave
you're
the
right.
Dark Lord like last.
Right, you're right, not for nothing, but the show is called The Rings of Power, and like what they showed us had nothing to do with the rings. I mean, yeah, some of these people are going to be ring bearers, but yeah,
Yeah.
like maybe a teaser of the show name, like something that had to do with the show name. I just
Yeah,
wasn't
like you-
impressed. Again, $900 billion or whatever they're spending on this thing. You got to
Mhm.
do better than that, honestly.
Hey, if it comes out bad, Papa Bezos, we're coming after you, brother. Papa
Right.
Bezos is done. But like in the Fellowship of the Ring, she's explaining all the people who held, like she's explaining the background of the ring and how it's being made. And this is me just like thinking about like making film or trying to connect with the fan base. Wouldn't you want to try to keep the like you're like, oh shit, this is it.
Right.
This is the Rings of
Yeah.
Power. This is the new TV show. You already know off the bat, and then you have the characters just like holding the rings, putting it on slow motion. And then if you're gonna keep it vague that way. Keep it a little bit nostalgic. Like they're like, oh wow, this is Lord of the Rings. Like I'm pumped to watch this now. You know, I want to know who that character is.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. You make a good point, right? Like, yeah, there. If you watch, if no one told you what that trailer was, right?
You'll be
And
like, what the fuck is
and
this?
at the end of it, it didn't tell you, Amazon Prime, The Rings of Power. You'd have no idea probably what like universe this show is set in. It's just
Twilight.
like a bunch of people kind of right. It could be any like fantasy,
Yeah.
medieval, sci-fi show. It could be like The Witcher, or something like that. Who
Mhm.
knows? Yeah, it didn't have that vibe, bro. It just didn't. And that is concerning. That's more concerning
I
to
agree
me
with
than
you.
there being a fucking black dwarf queen. That actually kind of makes sense in my opinion. They're
Yeah.
fucking dwarves, right? They're from it just makes sense. There's
Yeah.
nowhere did it say that any of the characters could be, this shade of skin color or whatnot. I'm concerned about the story. And so far, just from the one trailer, I didn't get that vibe. I didn't get that classic Lord of the Rings vibe. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they did it this way on purpose, right? There is something to the story. Spoiler warning, I guess, but if you don't know about Sauron by now, he was a deceiver, right? And he
Mhm.
was didn't always necessarily look like Sauron. So maybe a general theme of this entire show could be deception and leading you in different directions where you don't think. And we'll see
And
what
you
happens.
don't know who really is Sauron, which
If
would
he,
be
right, if it
kind of
even is
cool.
him, right.
Yeah, like
Maybe like the whole theme of the show will just always kind of be misleading you or misdirecting you or something.
yeah, and it's like what's that? Kaiser Soze or something like that. That movie,
Right.
something like that, where at the end
Yeah.
is like, oh shit, like that's crazy. Like this person was him the whole entire time. That would be
Yeah.
actually really cool.
Yeah,
I'll be
that's my
interested to see
speculation.
something
I'm
like
hoping
that.
that would make for a really good story. That it'll go somewhere along the lines of that, and then after the big reveal, we'll get
Mm.
the story from there on, leading up to the beginning of the first Lord of the Rings, which is the end of the Second Age, the whole battle, whatnot.
Yeah.
Like the king, what was it? Aragorn's ancestor getting the ring. So that'd be dope. Hopefully they go in some direction like that. You don't got to reinvent the wheel here. You just make a good
Mhm.
Lord of the Rings story. That's the way I see it.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, I hope they come out with another um trailer that has some explaining to do about what's going on, especially for people who hasn't watched it. I mean, like you said, if you didn't watch any of the Hobbit series or the Lord of the Rings, you're totally lost. You're like, what is this?
Even if you did, bro, in my
You
opinion,
know?
even if you did watch all that and you didn't, and like I said, if no one told you what you were about to watch, someone just, and you didn't know maybe the show was coming out, I feel like you'd have no idea that it was The Lord of the Rings. I've always said with shows and movies and stuff too, they should start shooting 30, what are trailers? A minute long at maximum. Shoot an extra minute of original film for the trailer that's not in the movie. So we don't know exactly what's going to happen in the show. Do something unique just for a
Or
trailer.
like a little teaser.
Yeah, that
Even a
shoot
teaser,
original.
I'd enjoy something like just a minute of just a scene, a
Right.
little portion of a scene.
And that scene
that-
doesn't show up in the show. Like it's something
Yeah.
leading up to the story unfolding, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, that'd be interesting to do. Yeah, it's just I agree with you. I'm excited. We get to have more. This is definitely going to replace our Game of Thrones wound
Of the
that's
vo-
gaping.
I hope-
Hopefully, they
I
don't
hope
fail
so,
us.
man. They might, bro. They might. I hope it doesn't pour salt in the wound.
Oh, and if it does, but like I said, Bezos is going to be accountable for that.
Well, he'll just blast off into space.
If everybody's going to attack him, that if he ruins this.
Yep.
So
All right.
but,
So that
yeah.
is a slice of doom, the Rings of Power. We are going to hop over to the Last Slice podcast now and record part 2. Jimbo, what do you got on the docket for part 2?
On the docket right now, we're going to talk about current events that's been happening in the last 48 hours with Russia and Ukraine. I think I just deleted all my topics, and I think it's best that we talk about in depth of what's going on over there. And hop on over and check us out.
All right. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Let us know what you guys think also of the Lord of the Rings new show and the trailer in the comments below. All right. Take it easy.
Still think trilogy best ever.
Yeah, I agree. Later.
Done.